Spend your summer making memories with your kids and help prevent underage drinking.
Joining us now for more in the sponsored interview is Heidi Dutson, Prevention Administrator and Regional Director at Utah Department of Health and Human Services. Welcome.
Thank you.
Well, this is an important topic. A great time to bond with your kids because bonding equals, I think, cooperation, connection. How do we do that? How do we start with summer upon us and connecting with our kids?
Yeah, you said summer's here. Hopefully all kinds of opportunities to spend time with kids during their summer vacations from school. And what we really want parents to know is that when they take intentionally the time to spend 10 to 15 minutes in their child's world doing things that they love to do, that they're actually taking huge strides to help prevent underage drinking. Because we know that when kids feel bonded and have that warm relationship with their parents, that they're more likely to do those things that their parents want them to do to stay healthy.
Yeah, and to keep a clear line of communication. I said to you right before the segment, oh, I have time. I've got a 3 and an 8-year-old. And you said, well, the conversation starts at 9.
Yeah, the American Academy of Pediatrics actually recommends having these conversations as early as 9. What we find is kids, when they're about 9 years old, they actually, usually aren't thinking about drinking alcohol. Their attitudes are about that are like, well, that's not for me. That age between 9 and 13, those attitudes might shift a little bit as they move into junior high and have more exposure. So if you can start having those conversations early, keep that warm relationship by doing lots of fun things together, then you can help them through that transition and help them understand that it's not safe to drink underage.
What is that conversation? What does it look like when you're talking to someone as young as 9 and 10?
Yeah, really good question. And this doesn't have to be a really formal, like, hey, come sit down. We need to have a chat, but it can happen very informally. It might just look like, hey, I was reading some research or even watching this news segment today, right? And hearing how underage drinking can affect the growing brain. And we can tell our kids that. We want you to grow up and achieve your dreams and the goals for your life. So can we make an agreement and a rule here as a family that we will have no underage drinking? And again, that's done because we love our children, not because we're trying to put a hammer down or control their lives.
And we don't want to scare them, but we want them to age appropriately, understand the impact. So some of the things that can happen if you're drinking before 21, it really does affect the brain and future outcomes.
Yeah, research is really clear on that. And what we found is that when alcohol is introduced to the growing brain, it can impact memory and learning and impulse control. Also, in some situations, it can wire a brain for addiction. So really important. Again, and kids these days want to know why. And so we can share those things, again, not to scare them, but to help them see, here's why we put these standards in place for you. We love you. We care about you. Let's have some summer fun and keep those activities alcohol-free.
Well, brains don't finish developing until about 21, even 24 years of age. So knowing that's a little bit scary to know that drinking can definitely adversely affect the brain before that. And also the conversation can't just be, okay, don't touch that. It has to be more because kids are wanting more.
Yeah, it's the information age, right? Kids know a lot more than they ever did before. So when we can find that sweet spot of having a warm relationship, having a very clear standard of no underage drinking, and then fill in the context with all of the why we want them to stay healthy and away from underage drinking, ultimately so that they can have the best chance of having a bright and healthy future.
The why is so key here. And when they are a little older, this conversation important too, making sure they know how to refuse it. Peer pressure happens.
Yes. I know our third pillar of Parents Empowered there is that monitoring. And we can do that by teaching our kids refusal skills. Say they go to a party and unexpectedly there is alcohol there. Do they know how to get out of that situation without it being an anxiety-ridden event for them? Have we prepared them as parents? Even maybe with a code word they could text us of like, hey, there's alcohol here, I'd rather go home, or a way to refuse and say, thanks, I'll take a soda, or whatever that strategy is that you work out together.
Heidi, such a great reminder, and parents are the #1 role models for your kids. So
That's
thank
right.
you again, and thanks again to Parents Empowered for sponsoring this interview.